Oh, man. Oh, God. Excuse me a second. Oh, man, this is so good. Man, every revolution needs to begin with a good piece of chocolate. Don't you agree? Good morning, Wisconsin. I said, good morning, Wisconsin. This is the voice of Wisconsin Resistance broadcast number 2. It is Monday, February 21st, 2011. How are we all doing out there? I hope nobody has a case of the Mondays, because if you do, you know I'll have to kick your ass for saying so. Yeah, let's turn this off now. I'm feeling good today, Wisconsin. I'm feeling wonderful. Why, you ask? Why? Solidarity is in the air today, my brothers and sisters. The firefighters are with us. The police are with us. The teachers, the students, the workers, the politicians. The whole world is with us. Walk into the Capitol ground floor, and what do you see? Banners all over the place. Michigan is with you. Pennsylvania is here with you. New York stands with Wisconsin. Baltimore is here for you, Wisconsin. Oh, it warms your heart. That gets to me right here. See that? Thumping my heart like a caveman. No, of course you can't see that. It don't matter, though. Got a good show today. Got a good show. We're going to talk about the man himself, the reason why we're all here, the shining beacon of democracy, Scott Walker. I like Skywalker, doesn't it? Scott Walker, Skywalker. I can see that. Who is this guy? What does he want? And what are we going to do about it? Such good questions, such reasonable questions, and ones that we're going to get to right after some announcements. The executive board president of the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Association, that is the police union, issued a statement last night expressing regret for having endorsed Scott Walker. Tracy Fuller wrote, I am going to make an effort to speak for myself and every member of the Wisconsin State Patrol when I say this. I specifically regret the endorsement of the Wisconsin Troopers Association for Scott Walker. I regret the governor's decision to endorse the troopers and inspectors of the Wisconsin State Patrol. I regret being the recipient of any of the perceived benefits provided by the governor's anointing. You know, it's never too late to join the cause, Tracy. Wisconsin thanks you for your honesty and humility. Shout-outs to our heroic protesters at the state capitol who are spending yet another consecutive night away from their families. Get this, they've set up an entire infrastructure to support themselves. With the help of the citizens of Madison, the Capitol Square now boasts garbage collection, recycling, a community food bank, water supplies, a lost and found, and an information services station. P.S. If you happen to visit Info Services, give Chris a shout-out from me personally. Thank you. And also spending the night away from their families in a faraway land full of magic and mystery called Illinois are the 14, or the heroic 14, as the protesters know them. They're with us in spirit, folks. You know, a lot of people give them a hard time over what they did, but, we're going to get into that in a later broadcast at a later time. Scott time. Who is Scott Walker? If you look at his website, it says that he attended Marquette University here in Wisconsin, which, notice the language, attended, because he didn't actually graduate. Some nasty business involving violation of campaign rules while trying to be president of the Association of Marquette University Students. Something like that? Yeah. But that's alright. That's alright, right? You don't have to be college educated to be cool. We know that. That's not a requirement. That is not a requirement to be a good public servant. He got himself elected to the State Assembly in 1990. And to make a long story short, 12 years later, 2002, county exec in Milwaukee. And that is where things get interesting. Because, people, his time in Milwaukee makes it abundantly clear that this guy hates unions. He hates public unions. Had we paid attention to his time in Milwaukee, could have seen all this coming. Because you know what?
All of this has happened before.
But the question remains, does all of this have to happen again?
Yes. Yes. what she said and what he said. Does it have to happen again? Does it have to happen? Does what happened in Milwaukee have to happen all over the state? I say no. I say no. But first, what happened in Milwaukee? Well, Scott trimmed spending. He trimmed it really well. He cut the workforce by 20%. He improved the county's bond rating. And he even gave back hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own salary to improve the budget. The problem is that union leaders in Milwaukee, they say that Scott never made any attempt to negotiate with them whatsoever. He never tried to bargain with them. He never tried to come to terms with them. He just said cut. Cut, cut, cut. One guy referred to him as a one-trick pony, that guy being Rich Abelson, the executive director of AFCME, Direct Council 48, Milwaukee's largest union. Walker seemed to be under the impression that collective bargaining, yes, collective bargaining, that thing that we're all fighting so hard for today, that collective bargaining was the biggest obstacle to balancing the budget. In fact, Scott Walker was asked in an interview whether his experiences in Milwaukee contributed to his, shall we say, stance on collective bargaining? And he said, of course. Absolutely. Totally. And you know, the thing about collective bargaining in a public union is that there are a lot of Republicans who say that it doesn't work. You know, they use Franklin Delano Roosevelt's quote against us. They say, oh, well, collective bargaining in a public union, it doesn't function because when the union bargains, there's nobody at the other side of the table, because there's no one there to represent the people. Because the public employees in a union, they work for us, right? They work for us. And so, since we're not there at the bargaining table, the unions pretty much can just do whatever they want. This is what they say. This is what they say. Whether or not that is accurate, you know, there is merit to that argument. I'm not going to say that there's no merit to that. There is some, but the problem with that is it enough to warrant stripping collective bargaining rights? Is it enough to warrant attacking the middle class? Are there other ways that we can resolve that discrepancy? And the answer is yes, there are other ways, because yes, collective bargaining is a right. It is a right, and that's why we're here, isn't it? That's why this is not about the budget. This is not about pensions. This is not about healthcare premiums. This is about our rights. This is about collective bargaining. We have said over and over, remove the provisions for collective bargaining, there'll be no problem, right? Right, okay. Public unions have phenomenal benefits. The salaries in the public sector are so-so. In general, they're higher than the salaries in the private sector, in general. But that's because public sector jobs, on average, tend to require more education, and more education equals more money. When you take education into account, then it is clear that having a master's degree in the private sector will earn you a hell of a lot more than a master's degree in the public sector. You see, the public sector is heavily unionized. The private sector is not. Hardly any unions in the private sector. Unions have gone way downhill in the private sector. The benefits that the public sector receives are the direct result of union negotiations. And if anything, they show how effective those negotiations have been. Governor Walker says that the public employees are overpaid, that their health care and pensions are draining the budget. But who gave them those benefits in the first place? Answer: we did. We did. Now hold on, before you say, well, I didn't give them smack. We did through our elected representatives. The politicians negotiate with the unions, and if they gave them more than they can afford, then that is what we call in school fiscal irresponsibility. And the people, since nobody pays attention to what their elected officials do, and, most don't vote in local elections anyway. No criticism of you, Wisconsin, in this last election we had. The people kind of just allow these negotiations to happen with little or no oversight. So the public unions negotiated the terms of their cush benefit packages, and because now, when the economy is bad, they were given perhaps too much, we need to curtail those benefits. And the unions have agreed. They've agreed to the curtailing of those benefits. But no. Scott wants to take away their entire ability to bargain and to negotiate for anything but their salaries. And that is stupid. That is so stupid. So is Scott Walker a dictator? Is he a fascist? Is he the Mubarak of the Midwest? No, he's not. Sorry, but he's not. In Milwaukee, Scott gained a reputation for austerity. He reduced his salary, and he took to driving a crappy Saturn with about 100,000 miles on it. For years, he carried the same bagged lunch to work. You know what his lunch is? 2 ham sandwiches on wheat bread. Ugh. He was so anti-government. He was so anti-spending. He proposed abolishing the county government that he himself was in charge of because he said it was redundant. By the time he was done in Milwaukee, the budget was trimmed, but Milwaukee County Public Services were utterly decimated. Public park staff, county social workers, corrections officers, janitors lost so many of their jobs. Trash was piled up high in Milwaukee Courthouse, and a local newspaper reported that judges resorted to cleaning toilets. By all accounts, he's a very nice person, despite that rather distracting bald spot. But this guy is a pure administrator. He's ice cold. He looks at our uprising, 70,000 us outside his window. Ooh, he doesn't care at all. He doesn't care. He loses no sleep about us because he is firm in his belief that what he's doing is right, it will work, and fundamentally, we do not know what is good for us. We don't know what's best for us, but he and the government do. You know who he is? He's this guy.
We have every reason to be afraid.
Why? Because this guy beat up Mal? That ain't so hard.
Oh, he didn't beat me up. Nobody said that.
Because he's a believer. He's intelligent, methodical, and devout in his belief that killing River is the right thing to do.
So, no hope of a reward, huh?
Yes, exactly right. And don't you dare tell me you haven't seen Serenity, Wisconsin. Don't you tell me that, because if you tell me that, oh God, you're killing me. You're killing me, Wisconsin. You didn't vote, and you don't watch Firefly or Serenity? Oh God, this is a dagger to my heart, a dagger right here. Watch Firefly, Wisconsin, and vote for the love of God, for all that is holy. Vote next time. Vote in your local elections. Vote in the gubernatorial election. Vote. Tell your children. Vote. Always vote. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote and watch Firefly. This is the second broadcast of the Voice of Wisconsin Resistance. Until next time, solidarity.